Hey, it's your girl T, and we are here live at the Music Hall, representing Food for the Soul with the Fat Girls and Intimate Conversations with T. And we are here with one of the awesome cast members, Miss Jasmin Richardson.
Well, thank you for having me, Talitha.
Yes.
I'm from Houston, Texas.
Okay.
So it's nice to be close to home here in Dallas. And I am one of three kids.
Okay.
I've been acting professionally for almost 10 years. And I would have to say that The Bodyguard is one of my favorite shows that I've done so far.
Wow. And like I said, I concur when we were talking earlier. I concur. The show is absolutely amazing, you guys. How did you get into the wonderful world of acting?
I would say I was a little late to the game because some people start, when they're kids, doing community theater, regional stuff. And I started in high school.
Okay.
And it wasn't a cool thing to do because I did a lot of sports and running track. So it wasn't like the cool thing, but I could sing.
Right.
And I remember my theater teacher saying, well, if you can emote in a song, then you can tell a story, you can act. And I remember auditioning for The Wiz. And I wound up getting Dorothy my senior year of high school. And it kind of spawned from there. It was crazy. So I went off to college and I was really, really nervous about auditioning for the program because I didn't have a lot of theater experience, and somehow they saw potential, and it just kind of worked out for me in school, and that's really how I fell in love with acting, and just the whole idea of it, because it is work.
It is.
It is not just a fantasy. It is a lot of work, and it's been an amazing journey so far.
I know it is. Wow. What has been one of the biggest obstacles you say you faced in following your dream?
Wow. One of the hardest things I would say is just dealing with daily rejection, because as you audition, and hopefully if you're auditioning a lot, you don't always book it. You don't always book the job, and that's okay. But that has been the toughest thing, and also not having a personal life, because especially with the touring right now, this is my life. So you don't, it's all encompassing. So the acting and working at night and just kind of being away from family and my boyfriend, that's tough. So that's probably the biggest obstacles.
How do you deal with the rejection? That's what I've always wanted to know that because I'm a writer and director myself,
awesome.
and I've never actually gone out for a part because I'm always
on the other end of the
I'm
table.
on the other end of it. And so I wonder how do people take that? How do they feel? How do you guys feel when you work your butt off and you come in there and you like, I know I slayed this. I know I did this.
I know I did it. Well, for me, I realize it's not about me personally.
Right.
It's just my take on the character. And if that's not what they're looking for, there's nothing to take personally.
Right.
And for me, I just throw my sides away. Well, the script that they give you to audition with, I throw it away afterwards. I let it go. It's like I did my part. I showed up. I was present. I was in the moment. I did my thing, and I just throw it away afterwards. So for me, it's not as hard because I've been in the business doing it for a minute. But it's just a part of the game.
Just shake it off.
You just shake it off and keep moving, and hopefully you have another audition to worry about. So.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about a time when you were in a show, you were on stage, and you were thinking, this is surreal. Like, how did I end up here? Was there ever a time where you were actually on stage? And you
Man, the moment I booked this, it's been a surreal journey from the moment I booked this.
Okay.
So I remember. It wasn't on stage, it was rehearsal. So we had just gotten there. Of course, I'm a huge Deborah Cox fan. Who is it? Okay, how did you get here? So anyway, when I met her, it was just so surreal. Because you're like, oh my God, yeah, I know she's going to be in the show. And we did our first sing through. And so I made sure I was super ready. I had all my stuff, my notes. I knew exactly, I was off book, meaning I knew my lines before I even got to rehearsal. I was prepared.
Yes.
Because you never know. You want to make the best impression. And honey, I tell you, when she started singing in that room, it was just goosebumps. Even now, just reflecting on it. And then even being on stage with her every night, I have a moment yeah, this is my life. I must be dope because I'm doing this with her.
This is
cool.
What's up. Yeah,
it was crazy.
And I have to tell you that not even comparing you two together, seeing you two on stage together was so amazing. It was really, really amazing.
Yeah, we have good chemistry.
You guys really do. And you guys actually look like sisters, acted like sisters. So
we're really friends. So you can kind of get a sense of that.
I really enjoyed the chemistry between you two.
Okay.
Tell us about a show where it didn't go
the way
as you planned, and you were like, OMG. And you really just had to flow with it.
That could be every day because theater is live and unpredictable. But I did have a show. I was doing Memphis the Musical. That was on Broadway. And I did the tour. And we have a big set piece. It's a mirror, and I'm supposed to be looking in the mirror, and my back is to the audience. But the mirror, they could see me through the mirror.
Right.
And the mirror fell on me.
Oh,
It fell. Now that's not supposed to happen.
Wow.
Okay? And it fell. I screamed loud, but then I kept going, and I was like, I have a concussion. I know I have a concussion because I was like functioning, but like out of body experience. And it was heavy too. It wasn't one of those like little fake prop mirrors. It was a real like wood around the mirror, and it fell on me, girl. And I screamed so loud. And I just kept going, and then I just started crying at the finale. We had a big finale, kind of like Bodyguard. And my co-star, he's so amazing, picked me up and carried me off because he knew, he was like, she's hurting. Thank God it was at the end, towards the end of the show. But he was like, she in pain. And I had to pretend like I was cool because the audience was watching, but I was like, I think I have a concussion. I'm dying. Yeah. So that
when it fell, but when it fell on you though, what did you do? Did you pick it up?
No matter if you like are in pain, you know people are watching you, and you just have to keep going because I couldn't stop the show. I don't even know. It was like hit me in the head is hurting. I have to get my lines out, and then I had to sing a couple more songs. And I did. I did. I finished it, and I was like at the end, just like backstage, passed out. They got ice all over my head.
Emotional.
Just going through it, but I made it through the show. So.
Well, what would you say drives you to continue to do this, to do acting, to continue this career?
Man, I love it.
Do you?
I love storytelling. And people often ask, like, how can you tell the same story every night?
Right.
Because I try to forget about the ending and just kind of take people through the journey because they've never seen it.
Right.
So I just try to stay in the moment and respond as honestly as I can because sometimes it changes. You know, my inflections change on it, or I'll say it a different way to keep it fresh because that's how I feel that character is in that moment.
Yes.
But I truly love the craft of acting. I love I'm dabbling in writing. I'm not a writer yet, but I'm like dabbling in just the fact of building and establishing a person. And like, what does that feel like, because you have your good days, your bad days. And so I try to bring whatever I'm feeling that day to Nikki, my character.
Right.
And sometimes she's in a good mood, sometimes she's not. And you might get a different show every night with me. But we just try to tell the story, and that's what I love the most about it.
And I agree. I love the story of it. I know most actors are a triple threat.
Yes.
And so what I wonder now, I got a chance to see the show, so I know that you can sing beyond. I already know that already. We know you can act, but can you dance?
Girl, I can move.
You can move.
I'm brown, so we can all move. I got rhythm. But no, I'm not a dancer. If you see the dancers, what they're doing, I couldn't do what they're doing. Okay. My legs don't go that far up to my head or anything, but I can move, And when I do cover Deborah, so sometimes I go on for her, you see she's dancing. So I can do those basic
okay. And that's what I was going to say, because I know that she dances with them as well as singing. Yeah, and she is doing it, man.
Doing it big,
So dancing is not, you're like, I don't really
No, I think it's insulting to say I'm a dancer when I'm surrounded by incredible dancers. So I move.
Okay. Yeah. She said she moves. She moves. So as far as the Bodyguard, tell us how you landed that role. Man. What happened?
The best audition of my life.
Really?
The best audition of my life, and I've had a lot of auditions in my life. I remember I live in LA, so I'm based in LA, and I had to fly to New York, and I was going through the airport in Whitney, Houston. I want to dance with somebody who was playing, and I was like, okay. It's mine. I knew it. Like, from that moment, I was like, oh, she's with me. Like, it's creepy, because I learned how to sing by listening to Whitney. The first CD my mother, not CD, even like tape my mother played was The Bodyguard. So I remember being like, what is that? Who is that? Because it was just like this beautiful sound. And when I saw her, I remember feeling like, man, she looked like me, just another little brown girl. And so when I flew to New York, I went balls out. Like, I was like, she gonna be with me that day. Like, I was like, come on, girl, we doing this. Like, literally called upon Whitney. And went in that room and just slayed to the best of my ability. And the rest is history.
And did you get a call back that day? I mean, were they like,
I
you know what?
for 2 days, and I found out the third day.
Okay, so the
which
third
is
day.
pretty fast. It doesn't happen like that. So they were like, hey, we want you. So, and I was like, really? Okay.
Okay.
It was pretty fast.
Right.
Turn around. But yeah.
Man, so Whitney Houston and her spirit
She was with me that day.
in the room.
She was
yeah,
there.
and I can say, and I can attest to hearing that on stage when you were singing, and I'm like, oh my God. And my husband, he came with me, and he was like, oh my gosh, she looks like her. And
with that wig, people do go,
with that
ooh.
wig. Yes, you do favor her.
But thank you.
How has it been working with the cast and Deborah? How has that been?
Man, I have the best cast. And like, that doesn't always happen. You know,
sometimes,
you don't always gel, but Deborah and Judson Mills, who plays the Bodyguard, they came in with such open hearts and no diva attitudes, none of that. And so that set the tone for how, the rest of the show or the cast was going to, carry ourselves. And everybody is just lovely, like a family.
So, what type of feedback have you been getting so far about the show? Has anybody said anything to you or comments, anything you've been reading about?
Well, my reviews and the reviews as a whole have been great. I think the show has been well received, so that's
It
a
has.
blessing. In LA, I think the biggest compliment I got was from Vanessa Bell Calloway. I don't know if you know who that is, but
Yes.
she's
Yes,
I mean, we had some of the, my mind is still blown by the people that came to see that show in Los Angeles. And she just said, we see you. We see you. You are enough. Just know that we see you. And I was like, what?
Wow.
You see me? Because, you know, when you're doing a show with a star, especially
Yes.
like Deborah Cox, who is just like, she's, you know, life. You just go, I'm just going to do my part. And, you know, if people notice, it's great. And if they don't, it's fine. You know, I'm here, happy to be here. And she was like, no, we see you. And I was like, that was all I needed to know. And I feel good about that. And we've been well received. And I feel like Nikki, there is like, you know, it's a slight difference from the movie. So people tend to really gravitate towards my character, which thank God no one hates me.
And that's what I was going to say. That was one of my last questions. I love the creative license that they took with the storyline, and I didn't want to give it away when I did my review, but it was amazing the direction that they went with it. And I was
much
saying,
more heart and warmth, and you got more of a dimension of her as a person.
yes, and understanding of who Nikki is and who Rachel is instead of just who Rachel is.
And what Nikki did.
Right, right.
Cut and dry.
Yeah, and so I really appreciated that. And I was saying before, so I felt like she is in this play. When I tell you she is blowing. Like Deborah Cox, her. I'm like, oh, both of them magnificent. And so I was saying that I thought that they were giving you a chance to, you know, get your singing chops, and then also giving her a chance to rest her voice.
Breathe.
Because in the show, guys, I mean, like, she's singing like almost every second. Deborah breaks out into song.
Deborah's singing 13 songs.
Wow.
There's 16 in the show total. I sing 3 and Deborah's singing 13. So, I mean, even when she's backstage, she's changing clothes. There's no like break. Because obviously I cover her, so I know that track very well. There is no break. The moment she starts, she's either changing clothes or she's on stage. Changing clothes or she's on stage.
Right.
So she is a beast to do this every night.
She is.
Yeah, she's working.
She absolutely is. So when you do it, what's the difference in when you do it? Are you like, oh my God?
Ooh, child, I'm out of breath.
Sorry,
I be like, ooh, how did she do this?
Yeah.
You know what? It's great because I have both women in my mind, and so I know it's just so different. It's really hard because sometimes I'll come back. Saturdays are the days I cover, so I do a Saturday matinee, then I come back and do my character that night. Okay. And girl, so many times I'm like, don't say that line. That's not your line. Like I almost speak up for her, and it's like, oh no, you're Nikki. She's Rachel. It's so funny, but it's hard, but it's good. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun playing Rachel just for that one time out of the week, and then get to be Nikki.
Well, so speaking of you and the line mix-ups, do you ever feel like when you're on stage, you're able to relate to Nikki as Rachel, and so you give her a different dimension, like you're coming from a different place. You're like, okay, I was Nikki earlier, now I'm Rachel, so I can say something, or I feel a little bit different because I know what she's going through.
There's a sisterly moment. There's a sisterly moment at the top of Act 2, and you've seen it like when I come in and you know the whole bed scene, and I love that moment because you get to see them be just girls. You know what I'm saying? You see your sister like, hey girl. Like this whole little interaction we have, and it's just so genuine. So when I get to be Nikki, it's so funny to play it because I don't know what's happening, obviously, in the story. And then when I'm Rachel, I get to play it differently too. Like, hey girl, come on, see what I got. You know, it's really funny. But yeah, I love both women. So.
And I love the energy, and I love the fact that every song was a Whitney Houston.
And if you're a true Whitney fan, like this is your show. Everything is Whitney. It's just Whitney.
Yes.
So yeah.
And I love the fact that they were able. They put a lot of her songs where they fit in the play,
to make the story make sense.
to make the story make sense. Right, absolutely. And so I absolutely loved it. I want to thank you so much, Jasmin, for being here with us. When I saw you on stage, I'm like, I have to talk to her. And then when I looked at your bio and I found out that you were from Texas, I'm like, oh, she's representing. She's representing for all of Texas. Even though I'm not a native, I have been here long enough to say that I am a Texan. So we thank you so much, and good luck on your show. Absolutely. Break a leg tonight, and
thank you so much.
Hopefully we'll see you. Are you looking to do TV?
I am.
Are you?
I'm
okay.
working on it, girl.
So that's why Vanessa Bell Calloway said, "We see you."
We see you now.
Yes, we see you. So thank you so much. Thank you guys. This is T, representing Food for the Soul with the Fat Girls and Intimate Conversations with T. See you later.
Grew up in a small town, and when the rain would fall down,